This is the Dzogchen Sunday Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For multiple decades, I spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you won't have to. It is Yoda mid-morning. Oopsie, it is Yoda Monday. Let's try this again. It is Yoda Wow. It is Yoda Monday mid-morning. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. After we complete our review of the Buddha's Eightfold Path of Enlightenment. Come, let us explore a tale of two cousins. The very famous one, known as the Buddha, or Gautama, or Shakyamuni, and his foolish cousin, Devadatta. Where Devadatta was rigid, Gautama was flexible. Where Devadatta was fearful, Gautama was loving. Where Devadatta was superstitious, Gautama was rational. Where Devadatta was controlling, Gautama was laid back. Where Devadatta was elitist, Gautama was egalitarian. Where Devadatta was cryptic, Gautama was lucid. Where Devadatta was competitive, Gautama was cooperative. Where Devadatta was cruel, Gautama was kind. These attributes are found in institutional Buddhism. Therefore, I teach through the metaphoric lens of proto-Buddhism. What is enlightenment? What if enlightenment was nothing more than the mastery of the Buddha's Eightfold Path? But what do we mean by mastery? When we have mastered a skill, we practice it spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. For instance, as children, we mastered using the commode instead of our diapers. We mastered brushing our teeth, tying our shoes, riding a bike, as well as reading, writing, and arithmetic. It is possible to master the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Perhaps that is why the Buddha taught that one could master it in as little as 7 years, or 7 quarters, or 7 months, or 7 fortnights, or 7 weeks, or even 7 days. The dynamos of the path are the 7th and 8th folds, which are simply mindfulness and meditation. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not. So, what is mindfulness? Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to automatically access the middle bit of our spinal cord, which functions as the core of our sympathetic nervous system. It is evolved to help us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly watch all mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. All of them, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the convenient to the arduous, from the glorious to the grotesque. But what are we to do with all that which we watched? Why we meditate, of course. You see, every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we've evolved to access both the tippy top and the very bottom of that same spinal cord. These two regions, working as a team, function as the core of our parasympathetic nervous system that has evolved to help us to physically relax and mentally release during each exhalation. Simply by sitting and breathing and watching and resting once every 12 hours or so, we cannot help but practice the right view of letting go. Every time we exhale, we relax to such a degree that which we watched during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even as non-graspable as a vast empty void. When I was in 4th grade, I had the very good fortune to be taught that a simile is only as effective as it is relatable. Therefore, we must ask the question, what is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although could look tantalizing to the eye, could feel non-graspable to the hand? I'm forever grateful to Prahe Vajra, known as Gaurab Dorje, and Tulku Tanda for insisting that the highest love is the spontaneous and uncontrived byproduct of Ati Yoga or Trekcho that is simply watching and resting in harmony with our breathing. Sounds great. Sign me up. How do we do that? Simply by sitting and breathing and watching and resting once every 12 hours or so. Let me rephrase that. The more we sit and breathe and watch and rest, the more we cannot help but practice kind intention, kind communication, kind conduct, and even kind commerce. Now, it's all well and good to feel kind, but how are we to know what the kind thing is to choose or say or do? Simply by the more we sit and breathe and watch and rest, the more our choices and utterances and deeds flow, not from contrived calculations, not from wild scatteredness, but instead from love's deeply centered spontaneity. This is known by many words, such as right effort or effortless effort or wu wei or doing without doing or going with the flow or being in the zone or simply expedient means. All this comes from the simple practice of mindfulness and meditation, of clarity and letting go. As a preliminary practice, let us gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce at our crown. Doing so is as simple as using the tip of our left index finger to support the lower knuckle of our right index finger, palms up, in our lap. Let us not make the mistake, excuse my slur, let us not make the mistake of actively focusing upon our breath or our nostrils. For doing so will so fatigue our medial prefrontal cortex that it will trigger our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression. Instead of that, let us model the behavior of an ideal piano student who's too busy focusing on their sheet music and their keyboard to actively focus on the sound of the metronome. And instead they hold that sound in merely passive peripheral awareness. Similarly, let us, when we passively notice air enter our nostril, let us silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb, watch. And when we passively notice air exit our nostril, let us silently and mentally recite the verb, rest. Now let us draw our attention to our right thumb. Every time we silently and mentally recite the verb watch during our inhalation, let's advance our right thumb. And let's do so together right now. Counting 12 sets of creases on our right fingers is an excellent way to keep track of 1 minute. To keep track of an additional 12 minutes. In addition to counting our inhalations on our right hand, on our left hand we can count sets. 12 sets of creases, 12 sets of 12 inhalations each. And now we advance the tip of our left thumb again. Now that we understand the process, let us rest our hands palms up in our lap. The moment you have a specific question about the philosophies or techniques that support meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions about once every 13 minutes. Having completed 13 sets of 12 inhalations each, we have gathered, we've gathered 13 sets of 12 inhalations each. If we wish to gather more, we have a choice. Do we slide the tip of our left index finger up to the second knuckle of our right index finger? Or do we simply replace our index finger with our middle finger, using the tip of our left middle finger to support the the lower knuckle of our right middle finger? We're going to go with the second. And the reason we're going to do that is that in preparation for mindfulness and meditation of bliss and letting go, we're going to gently invite our real or imagined subtle energy to coalesce at our chest. As we passively notice our chest swelling with breath, let us silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb, feel. As we passively notice our chest subtly sinking with the departure of our breath, let us silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb, rest. We're now going to shift gears and perform the 21 the homages to the 21 Tatas. If you are participating on the clock app, you might have a better time joining me on the Tube app simulcast. If you're watching me front and center right now, you are already where you need to be. So we're going to perform 3 repetitions of each homage. Homage swift and fearless with us like a flash of lightning. Lotus born in an ocean of tears of generous 3 worlds protector. Homage swift and fearless with us like a flash of lightning. Lotus born in an ocean of tears of generous 3 worlds protector. Homage swift and fearless with eyes like a flash of lightning. Lotus born in an ocean of tears of generous 3 worlds protector. Homage to you whose face is like 100 autumn moons gathered and blazes with the dazzling light of 1,000 constellations. Homage to you whose face is like 100 autumn moons gathered and blazes with the dazzling light of 1,000 constellations. Homage to you whose face is like 100 autumn moons gathered and blazes with the dazzling light of 1,000 constellations. Homage to you born from a gold blue lotus and adorned with a lotus flower, essence of giving, kindness, patience, and mindfulness and wisdom. One moment, if you please. Okay, thank you for your patience. Homage to you born from a gold blue lotus and adorned with a lotus flower, essence of giving, kindness, patience, zeal, mindfulness, and meditation. Homage to you born from a gold blue lotus and adorned with a lotus flower, essence of giving, kindness, patience, and mindfulness, and meditation. Homage to you born from a gold blue lotus and adorned with a lotus flower, essence of giving, kindness, patience, and mindfulness, and meditation. Homage to you who crown all Buddhas, whose action subdues without limit, attain to every perfection, on you the Bodhisattvas rely. Homage to you who crown all Buddhas, whose actions subdue without limit, attain to every perfection, on you the Bodhisattvas rely. Homage to you who crown all Buddhas, whose actions subdue without limit, attain to every perfection, on you the Bodhisattvas rely. 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 。 。 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . Almighty you whose tutade and whom fill the realms of desire for man's space. You crush heaven rules beneath your feet and have power to call all forces. Almighty you whose tutade and whom fill the realms of desire for man's space. You crush seven rules beneath your feet and have power to call all forces. Almighty you whose tutade and whom fill the realms of desire for man's space. You crush seven worlds beneath your feet and have power to call all forces. Almighty you are adorned by Indra, Agni, Brahma, Vayu, and Ishvara, praised and sung by hosts of spirits, zombies, entities, and yakshas. Almighty you are adorned by Indra, Agni, Brahma, Vayu, and Ishvara, praised and sung by hosts of spirits, zombies, entities, and yakshas. Almighty you are adorned by Indra, Agni, Brahma, Vayu, and Ishvara, praised and sung by hosts of spirits, zombies, entities, and yakshas. Almighty you whose tray and pay destroy external wheels of magic, right leg drawn in and left extended, you blaze within a raging fire. Almighty you whose tray and pay destroy external wheels of magic, right leg drawn in and left extended, you blaze within a raging fire. Almighty you whose tray and pay destroy external wheels of magic, right leg drawn in and left extended, you blaze within a raging fire. Almighty you whose tutor destroys her great fierce almighty demons, with a wrathful frown on your lotus face you slay our foes without exception. Almighty you whose tutor destroys her great fierce almighty demons, with a wrathful frown on your lotus face you slay our foes without exception. Almighty you whose tutor destroys the great fierce almighty demons, with a wrathful frown on your lotus face you slay our foes without exception. Almighty you beautifully adorned by the three jewels gesture at your heart, you will shine in all directions with a willing mass of light. Almighty you beautifully adorned by the three jewels gesture at your heart, you will shine in all directions with a whirling mass of light. Almighty you beautifully adorned by the three jewels gesture at your heart, you will shine in all directions with a whirling mass of light. Almighty you radiant and joyful, whose crown emits a garland of light, you by the laughter of Tutati conquer demons and lords of the world. Almighty you radiant and joyful, his crown emits a garland of light, you by the laughter of Tutati conquer demons and lords of the world. Almighty you radiant and joyful, his crown emits a garland of light, you by the laughter of Tutati conquer demons and lords of the world. Almighty you with power to invoke the assembly of local protectors, with her fist round and vibrating, whom you bring freedom from all poverty. Almighty you with power to invoke the assembly of local protectors, with your fist round and vibrating, whom you bring freedom from all poverty. Almighty you with threat power to invoke the assembly of local protectors, with your fist round and vibrating, whom you bring freedom from all poverty. Almighty you with crescent moon crown, all your adornments dazzling bright, from your hair not all made up, but shines eternal with great beams of light. I'll measure you with crescent moon crown, all your adornments dazzling bright. From your head out Amitabha shines eternal with great beams of light. I'll measure you with crescent moon crown, all your adornments dazzling bright. From your head out Amitabha shines eternal with great beams of light. I'll measure you who dwell in a blazing wreath like the fire at the end of this age. Your right leg outstretched and left rod and joy surrounds you who defeat hosts of foes. I'll measure you who dwell in a blazing wreath like the fire at the end of this age. Your right leg outstretched and left rod and joy surrounds you who defeat hosts of foes. I'll measure you who dwell in a blazing wreath like the fire in the end of this age. Your right leg outstretched and left rod and joy surrounds you who defeat hosts of foes. I'll measure you whose footsteps the earth and his palm strikes the ground by your side. With a wrathful glance and the syllable whom you subdue all in the 7 stages. I'll measure you whose footsteps the earth and his palm strikes the ground by your side. With a wrathful glance and the syllable whom you subdue all in the 7 stages. I'll measure you whose footsteps the earth and his palm strikes the ground by your side. With a wrathful glance and the syllable whom you subdue all in the 7 stages. I'll measure the blissful, virtuous, peaceful one, object of practice, nirvana's peace, perfectly endowed with soa and overcoming all the great evils. I'll measure the blissful, virtuous, peaceful one, object of practice, nirvana's peace, perfectly endowed with soa and overcoming all the great evils. I'll measure the blissful, virtuous, peaceful one, object of practice, nirvana's peace, perfectly endowed with soa and overcoming all the great evils. I'll measure you with joyous retinue, you subdue fully all enemies' forms. The 10 syllable mantra adorns your heart and your knowledge whom gives liberation. I'll measure you with joyous retinue, you subdue fully all enemies' forms. The 10 syllable mantra adorns your heart and your knowledge whom gives liberation. I'll measure you with joyous retinue, you subdue fully all enemies' forms. The 10 syllable mantra adorns your heart and your knowledge whom gives liberation. I'll measure today with stomping feet whose essence is the seed syllable whom you cause Meru Mandara Vinja and all 3 worlds to tremble and shake. I'll measure today with stomping feet whose essence is the seed syllable whom you cause Meru Mandara Vinja and all 3 worlds to tremble and shake. I'll measure today with stomping feet whose essence is the seed syllable whom you cause Meru Mandara Vinja and the 3 worlds to tremble and shake. I'll measure you who hold in your hand a moon like a celestial lake. Sing Tare twice in the syllable, pay you dispel all poisons without exception. I'll measure you who hold in your hand a moon like a celestial lake. Sing Tare twice in the syllable, pay you dispel all poisons without exception. I'll measure you who hold in your hand a moon like a celestial lake. Sing Tare twice in the syllable, pay you dispel all poisons without exception. I'll measure you on whom the kings of gods, the gods themselves, and all spirits rely. Your armor radiates sure to all you soothe conflicts and nightmares as well. Homage to you on whom the kings of gods, the gods themselves, and all spirits rely. Your armor radiates joy to all you, soothe conflicts and nightmares as well. Homage to you on whom the kings of gods, the gods themselves, and all spirits rely. Your armor radiates joy to all you, soothe conflicts and nightmares as well. Homage to you whose eyes like the sun and moon radiate with pure brilliant light, uttering harder twice and two tade dispels extremely fearsome plagues. Homage to you whose eyes like the sun and moon radiate with pure brilliant light, uttering harder twice and two tade dispels extremely fearsome plagues. Homage to you whose eyes like the sun and moon radiate with pure brilliant light, uttering harder twice and two tade dispels extremely fearsome plagues. Homage to you, adorned with three natures, perfectly endowed with peaceful strength. You destroy demons, zombies, and yakshas, Oture, most exalted and sublime. Homage to you, adorned with three natures, perfectly endowed with peaceful strength. You destroy demons, zombies, and yakshas, Oture, most exalted and sublime. Homage to you, adorned with three natures, perfectly endowed with peaceful strength. You destroy demons, zombies, and yakshas, Oture, most exalted and sublime. Whoops, that's the wrong button. Let us passively contemplate the union of love and letting go, wherein we bring our personal needs and desires into manifesting's path of universal love. Mental kindness constitutes the second fold of the Buddha's eightfold path of enlightenment. May each being's experience of the mental now be as peacefully wise as the mind of an archetypical Buddha symbolized by a bija seed syllable. So here's the deal. As we breathe in, we silently and mentally recite the 6-syllable synopsis, bija wise, for all minds. As we breathe out, we physically relax as best we can, while simultaneously chanting the 10-syllable mantra 3 times per breath for a total of 4 breaths. Om Tare Du Dare Du Re Suwa, 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 Om Tare Du Dare Du Re Suwa. May each being's experience of the interpersonal now be as joyfully loving as the speech of an archetypical Buddha symbolized by a mantra. Mantra love for all speech. Om Tare Du Dare Du Re Suwa, 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 Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa. Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa. May each being's experience of the physical now be as healthy as a form of archetypical Buddha symbolized by a Yidam. Yidam health for all forms. Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa. Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa. Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa. Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa. May each being's experience of the circumstantial now be as fortunate as a lot of an archetypical Buddha symbolized by a parrot as pure land or Vati. Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa. Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa. Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa. Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa, Om Tariru Nari Nurizuwa. Having sat for the better part of an hour, we might find it refreshing to review bodhicitta, refuge, and then practice Buddha bowing. In our compassion, may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of dread, desire, and delusion, metaphorically known as the three mental poisons. In our pragmatism, may all liberation of all others be fueled by our mastery of the three wish-fulfilling jewels of following the Buddha's example, applying his instructions, and cooperating with his students. The 8-syllable synopsis of that which we chanted is, may we free all through thee, three jewels. Please bear with me while I move the camera. Oi! Now, here we go. May we free all through the 3 jewels. May we free all through the 3 jewels. May we free all through the 3 jewels. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. For Meditate Like a Jedi is made possible thanks to the generosity of viewers just like you. In approximately 6.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's dusk practice of Meditate Like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.